chest thumping, boom like a baseline pound. King Kong stepping, make the whole earth bow. Banana clip bars, peel the truth, spit it raw. Silverback stature, no cap in my jaw. Swinging through the jungle vines like a mic cord. Fists like anvils, leave the ground floored. Coconut crack, that's a hard head dude. Wisdom in my eyes, but the knuckles stay cruel. King of the jungle, the crown fits snug. Beat on my chest, watch the whole world shrug. From the treetops down to the mud, Gorilla's the name and I'm royal blood. Bamboo feast, teeth sharp as a blade. Roots run deep, can't chop this shade. Treehouse throne, I'm the jungle's mayor. Banish hyenas, they don't breathe my air. Rumble in the canopy, thunder in the sky. Alpha move silent, don't need no alibi. Chest like a drum, it command respect. Banana Republic and my squad's direct. Call it a safari, but I'm the guy. Jungle GPS, keep my fam supplied. Enemies try, but they slip and slide. Mighty gorilla with the earth as my pride.
Welcome to another episode of Flippin Tables Podcast here on the Black Men Unfiltered Network. It is good to be back here once again. We're going to have a great show lined up for you guys again tonight. As you see the title, The Godly Woman, Just a Myth? Question mark. We're definitely going to discuss that tonight. Now, I'll do a little housekeeping before we start. If you do want to join the show, definitely do that. The link is in the chat and it also is pinned to the top of the chat. Hit the link, come on up if you have something you want to say. The only condition is that you have your camera on for production reasons, and as well as we want to see your face, because we believe that, you know, you standing on business, we need to see the person that's standing on business. So if you want to come up, make sure your camera is on, make sure you have good lighting, make sure your kids are not running in the background or kicking over tables. Also, if you want to give to the channel, guys, you could definitely do that with a super chat. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, please donate to the channel. That helps the channel grow. Also, if you want to give a Cash App, and that is easier for you, you'll be able to see that scrolling at the bottom of the screen for the duration of the show as well. Last but not least, share this content with somebody. Go ahead and hit the like button, the share button, subscribe button if you have not already subscribed to the channel, and tell somebody about somebody and let them come over and judge for themselves on what they like over here as far as the content goes. All right, man. So I want to jump into this show because I think it's important to have this conversation. We have a lot of conversations as we did last week. It got into this at the end of the show last week when we were talking about the no-fault marriages and the we talked about, you know, what a godly woman really looks like when we were talking about the inappropriate dress that was worn by Jamal Bryant's wife. And that sparked the conversation that we're about to have tonight. All right. So I have a few videos here that I did load up and have ready to go for you guys that we're going to watch and discuss as well. I'm going to start with one of the videos here just as an icebreaker for us to watch. Let me get it started. Give me just a second. But while I'm doing this, guys, go ahead and hit the like button. If you're here right now, let me see the like button. I'm looking at the likes over here. All right. And I don't see a like yet unless I need to refresh. Or I need to refresh. If you hit a like, let me know in the chat. And I will definitely go and check that. All right. Let's see here. All right, where we at? All right, so yeah, while it's downloading again, so give me just a second, and it'll pop right up as we get this started. Give me just a minute. Let's see where it is. All right, you probably can hear the audio, but it's not showing on the screen. Give me just a second. All right. We should have it in just a second. But again, guys, hit the like while we're waiting on that. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, guys. Thank you again for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Let's see here. I should have the video ready to go. Let's see. Yeah, there it is right there. All right. All right, there we go. All right, now we're ready to cook now. We're ready to cook. We're going to start this as an icebreaker for this particular show. Let's see. All right, where is it? It's up here somewhere. There it is. I got it. All right, here we go. First video of the night.
No examples of harsh, godly women in the Bible. None. Even Jael, the woman who drove a tent peg through the enemy's head, didn't lead with violence. She gave him warm milk, covered him with a blanket. Her softness disarmed him. Her femininity is what drew him in first. For me, this is the blueprint. A meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God a great price. Meek doesn't mean weak, it means strength under control. And quiet does not mean silent, it means peace and tranquility from within. And yes, to become this woman comes at a price. But if it's valuable to him, the cost will never, and I mean never, outweigh the reward. Every day, we get to choose. Will I be the woman who is harsh, brash, and easily offended? Or the woman who is trusted, spiritually mature, and clothed in quiet strength? One makes noise, but the other, she carries weight.
All right. So basically, what she's saying is, if you look at it from a male perspective, the male perspective is, hey, listen, I need you to be my peace. I need you to know when to talk, when not to talk, not be vulgar, not have bad tone, not talk to me like I'm your child, or talk to me like I'm not to be respected. Because I believe all men who are in a situation where they yeah, I see you respectfully, Nadia. Go ahead and put it in there. Go ahead and put it in the chat what you're thinking so we can talk about it. If you want to come up, hit the link. But I do believe that there should be an aura that a woman creates for her man in peace, peaceful, not vulgar, not talking crazy, not being the chaos that the man experienced. There's nothing worse than a man who experiences chaos on the job, walking down the street to the job, get in his car, deal with the traffic, the people in the traffic, and then have to deal with, go home and deal with you. I believe that when a man comes home, I believe that his home, his woman should be his nurse. His woman should be his hospital. I think that with the way she speaks to him and helps him heal from the day he's had, and the way she looks at him, and the way she touches him, and the way she has sex with him, the way she feeds him, the way she prepares his plate for him, the way she lays on him and kisses him and hugs him. I think that heals a man to be able to prepare himself to go the next day and the next day. So if any woman's out there listening right now, I encourage you to be the woman that is a man's peace, and not be the woman who is a piece of work. All right. I appreciate that. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my brother from another mother is in the building tonight. Put your hands together for you, my brother. All right. The velvet voice of YouTube himself is in the building. All right. My brother from another mother's in the building tonight. Give it up for Lost in Translation, man. What's going on, my brother?
Yes, sir.
What's going on? What's going on? Now, I know you was listening to that video, how pleasant that woman is. I was just telling baby in there, I said, hey, listen, she has a voice. She can read books on Audible. She's just so pleasant in the way she speaks. And so what do you think about what she said in the video, or do you need to see it again?
I need to see it again. Run it back. Run it back.
I'm gonna run it back for you. Here we go.
No examples of harsh, godly women in the Bible. None. Even Jael, the woman who drove a tent peg through the enemy's head, didn't lead with violence. She gave him warm milk, covered him with a blanket. Her softness disarmed him. Her femininity is what drew him in first. For me, this is the blueprint. A meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God a great price. Meek doesn't mean weak. It means strength under control. And quiet does not mean silent. It means peace and tranquility from within. And yes, to become this woman comes at a price. But if it's valuable to him, the cost will never, and I mean never, outweigh the reward. Every day, we get to choose. Will I be the woman who is harsh, brash, and easily offended? Or the woman who is trusted, spiritually mature, and clothed in quiet strength? One makes noise, but the other, she carries weight.
All right, brother. What are your thoughts?
You know what? Let me explain something to you, man. A woman who undergirds her femininity with wisdom will always be in favor with God. You know, I honestly believe that these type of women are the type of women who should be held up as an example of what a woman should be. You know what I mean? Every situation doesn't need to be met with violence and anger. You know what I mean? That type of thing. And all you got to do is look in the Bible and see what it says about what love is. You know what I mean? A woman should be an example of love. You know, love is patient. Love is kind. You know what I mean? That type of thing. And so many times when we see videos online, it's the complete opposite, you know? And it's one of them things that we have to look forward to and say, hey, look, women have a choice. You know, either you can choose to be, you know, the woman who's revered by her husband, or you can be one of those type of women where people overlook you, because I'm thinking I'm getting to the point now where people don't want to even entertain unruly women. You know what I'm saying? Because it bears no fruit. It doesn't. So I think she's spot on, man. I think we need to start studying stuff like that and let them know, hey, this is a good example of what you should look forward to being a wife and a woman.
Absolutely, man. All right, so listen, we got another guest in the building, then I'm gonna bring him up, and then we continue the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my brother from another mother. It's also in the building, man. Prototype is in the building.
Yes, sir.
What's going on,
main man in the building. What's happening, brother?
Man, you know, it's been a minute, man.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Always good to see you, man. How the wife and kids, bro?
Everybody good, man. Can't complain about none of it.
I know that's right. If we did, nobody would listen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
All right, man. So did you get a chance to see the video, Prototype?
Yeah, I did.
So what are your thoughts?
I get what she's trying to say, but she's trying to explain this mythical creature. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's a lot of women in the Bible, and, you know, there's not many good ones that they list out. You know what I mean? So I just think like the Proverbs 31 woman, it's something to chase after, but it's something to never be achieved. That kind of situation.
Okay. All right. I hear you, Doc. I know. I think so. Prototype. Come on, now. I heard you talk about your wife before, man. You know, I know your wife is what she explaining though. It can't be a mythical creature in Prototype if you have that at your house.
I ain't say I had that.
Prototype, don't do it, man. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it, man.
Don't put me on the spot. I ain't say none of that.
Now, what I'm gonna go right into another video for you guys, man. Because I Prototype crazy as hell. I think it'll be good to listen to this one as well. Now I know we just heard the soft-spoken lady, but I think it'd be good to hear this too. And I think Prototype, I think you'll like this one. Let me see. No, I think I'm gonna wait till later to do that one. I'm gonna do this one. Hold on. Woo! Prototype crazy as hell. All right, here we go.
The biggest thing a woman can do is stop trying to prove she doesn't need and start receiving his leadership. That's not submission. Mm-hmm. That is feminine power. He protects her, provides for her, pursues her because she creates space for him to be what he's built to be. The softer you become in your feminine, the harder he'll go in his masculine. That is polarity.
That keeps attraction alive. But the moment you compete with him, challenge his authority in front of others,
or treat his leadership like oppression, you kill what you're craving. Good men don't want another man.
They want a woman who can receive what he's built to give, not someone trying to outthink him, out-earn him, or out-alpha him.
Feminine energy isn't about being less. Mm-hmm. It's knowing when to lead with softness instead of force, when to trust instead of test, when to receive instead of resist. A man who feels respected at home will move mountains for you. A man who feels challenged every day will stop trying. Masculine and feminine, they're meant to flow, not fight. You want a warrior in the streets? Be his peace at home. Stop expecting him to show up as the man when you're refusing to show up as the woman.
Go ahead, Prototype. We'll let you go first on this.
I mean, I like the idea she's spewing out, you know what I'm saying? But it's still an idea. I think it's a little bit more complex than what she's making it seem based off of how different people are raised and the true dynamic of what's really going on between people in these relationships. You know, shoot, I've seen studs become feminine around certain guys. You understand what I'm saying? So there's to a degree, yes, I understand the nature of it, but you know, habits, the relationship, as things grow, communication happens, expectations fail, you know, in your relationship. All those things kind of play a part in, you know, how a woman or how the relationship's going to, you know, transpire. And you know, mostly it's the man's job to maintain that relationship and to maintain the whole interaction. You know what I'm saying?
Lost in translation, the floor is yours.
You know what? Here's the thing. I think people resort back to what they're used to. And I don't really think we actually research things that we don't know as much, especially in situations where it comes to knowing your role. You know what I mean? That type of thing. It seems like everybody wants to do everybody else's job, but nobody wants to do the job they're assigned to do. And I think that's when we get out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? We got guys doing stuff that women should do, and we got women who doing what guys should do, and everything else. People get confused. That's one thing about it. When people get confused, they do nothing. So she's absolutely right. Knowing what femininity means, and I think a lot of times women think that being feminine is soft or it's not useful. More than likely, it's probably a situation where they've never seen it used in a way. But here's the thing: even if you've never seen it, that's still not an excuse for you not to learn. So I think we need to stop letting people off the hook just because they've never seen it. Doesn't mean that they can, you know, learn it or whatever. Because it's just like anything else you know how to do or you've learned how to do. You've taken time out to figure it out for yourself. So I think that, you know, most times people just need to just sit back and use wise counsel, even in situations where you don't know what to do. Seek out somebody who knows what you want to do and sit at their feet and become a student of the game. But outside of that, I'm not, you know, one of those people that just let people off the hook just because they don't know, because you can learn anything that you put your mind to.
I think the hard part, to kind of piggyback what you were saying, is the seeking out the wise counsel. How often do we see people doing it the way we want to do it? It's very rare, you know what I'm saying, to see somebody that got the relationship that, man, I want a relationship like that. I want a house like that. I want a car like it. You know, those people aren't always touchable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go in so many different situations, and all you see is toxic relationships, and it kind of steers you away from like, do I even want that? You know what I mean? And sometimes you're better off sticking to your fairy tale idea of what a relationship's supposed to be, because you've seen so much, you know, toxic behavior in relationships.
You know, here's the thing about that too. Just like we can see the bad stuff, we can see the good stuff too. Just like kids, you know, when people always tell you, hey, don't be arguing in front of the kids because they don't need to be seeing that. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way with us. We get to choose what we see. And 9 times out of 10, if we already see what doesn't work, then we know not to use that as a blueprint. We can always glean information even from stuff we know we don't think is appropriate. We just say, hey, we just do the exact opposite of what they're doing. You know what I mean? They talk over each other, and I'm gonna be quiet and let the other person talk. You know, that type of thing. If one person doesn't always have all the information, just say, hey, look, I can understand where you're coming from. You know, based upon what knowledge you have, I would probably act the same way. But let me tell you what you're missing, so that way I can give you the full benefit of the doubt, so that way you can make a wise decision. Because most people who make wise decisions like to have all the answers or have all the information to make a wise choice. And if we approach it that way, I think we'll probably start to lead in a better direction of what we have been going through. But like I said, like you said earlier, it is rare. It is extremely rare. And most times when people are happy, they come up missing. You know what I'm saying? You don't see a whole lot of couples on podcasts or whatever that's real happy. They too busy in bliss somewhere else handling business. You know, it's everybody else like us trying to figure out, you know, to help other people out and say, hey, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? That type of thing. But or give us whatever information that we have and say, hey, look, this is what I got. You know, use it if you need to. If you don't, that's, you know, it's okay. But at the end of the day, you know, we choose to learn from what we learn. You know, it's just like in race car driving. You know what I'm saying? If you look into the turn, you're gonna hit the wall. So my thing is just don't look into the wall. You know, keep looking to the looking to the left and keep going, and focus on where you want to go instead of where you don't want to go.
Well, so then it goes back to the question of the night. Then I'll ask you guys this, and then we'll move on. The godly woman, is she just a myth? Any one of y'all can jump in at any time and tell me what you think.
I say yes. Every relationship I've ever come across has had some weird things that you've had to get over. You know what I mean? And what I mean by I've come across, like, you know, when I look into my grandparents or people in the church, or, you know, there's never a clean story ever. You know what I'm saying? It's always, oh, you know, he used to do X, Y, Z. That's how he got her. Or, you know, she used to do X, Y, Z. You know, that's why she act that way. It's never a clean story. You know, so that's what I'm saying is a myth. Like, my idea of a godly woman is someone who stays on the up and up, and, you know what I mean, is quote unquote pure. You know what I'm saying? You know, not running around, you know, or, you know, had a hoe phase. We saying that right now? Are we saying stuff like that? So someone who, you know, without a hoe phase, you know what I'm saying? And when you start to dig back, you be like, dang, grandma, you was wild. Or, you know, dang, Pap, you was like, you understand what I'm saying? There's all kind of weird stuff in your history once you start to asking the right questions to the right people, and it's just never clean. You know what I mean? So no, I don't. I think it is just a myth. And you know, the relationship you have is the one you build, and the woman you have is the one you train. You know what I mean? The one you teach, the one you mold. So,
Lost in translation. The Bible says, "He who findeth the wife findeth the good thing and obtains favor." Do you agree with a prototype that when you get her, you still got to mold her? You still got to train her. You still got to make sure she right. Make sure she don't have no whole phase. As prototype just so eloquently put it.
Well, that starts with your selection. You know what I'm saying? What you build your clay from. You know what I'm saying? If you build your clay from sand, don't expect it to stick. You know what I'm saying? So, I can't in good conscience say that it's not possible given my particular situation. So, I can't speak from that.
Oh,
that
pause. So you just gonna go through that? You just gonna act like you just said that, and then go.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there for now. But I will tell you this:
Okay.
it's possible, but it's extremely rare. I mean, it is rare. And I'm talking about I'm 50 some odd years old and telling you it's extremely rare. You know what I mean? I've lived a long time. I've seen a lot of couples come and go, but it is extremely rare. And to say it is not possible, it is possible, but it may take you a while. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just being real, because there are more people in this world who think it's easier not to be godly than it is to be godly. And it comes with a lot of foundation, a lot of family, background, a whole lot of stuff that goes into it. Whether or not that person has made that decision in their heart to be holy, to be godly, regardless of whatever you say, you know what I mean? That type of thing. But there is a point where, yes, there is a molding that you have to do of each other. It's like commingling things. It's like when you get in the kitchen and you mixing eggs and milk, you have to pretty much temper it, unless you have scrambled eggs in your milk. You got to take a little bit of that heat and mix it in with the eggs and gradually blend it in slow so you have a custard that's homogeneous. You see what I'm saying? So it does take time. So that's the reason why a lot of times when people jump into relationships, they don't take time to temper each other, to learn each other. And I think this day and age where people have short attention spans and an infinite amount of distractions, it makes it extremely difficult. So to say what Prototype said, yes, it is extremely rare. Yes, you still have to put in the work. But I'm here to tell you, it is possible. It is possible, but it's extremely rare. Extremely rare.
And what is I'm going to get to the comments in a second because they got a lot to say over here. But what is the rarity? What do you think that it is that makes it so rare? Because we do see in Proverbs 31, if we go biblically here, in Proverbs 31, it says, a virtuous woman, who can find one? She's more valuable than any other woman. She's the first one up in the morning, the last one to go to sleep. She helps her men. She helps build with her men. So they are rare. So biblically, it does say that. But what are we looking for as far as men? What should a man look for if you guys had to give advice today? And I'll go last. But what would you give a man advice when they come to you and say, you know what, Lost? You know what, Prototype? I'm looking for a godly woman to be in my life. What should I look for, and what should be the red flags? What would you say? Either one of you can start.
I would say, and I'm gonna always let Lost, go second because he's gonna shut it down. But one thing I realized about women is they don't have the same integrity. Our idea of integrity is not their idea of morality. You know what I'm saying? So when we go out to find that woman and we're looking for a woman of integrity and a moral base and know what's right and wrong, our right and wrong ain't their right and wrong, and vice versa. And I think that's the part that we need to come to grips about, and having a good understanding of what our right and wrong is versus what their right and wrong is. And that's what you'll have to teach them for the most part, is what right and wrong is, essentially. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Eve and the apple, right? Like, she didn't, did she know, or she was able to be talked out of it. It's like the same morality is not installed. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say is the red flag. But I don't think you can get away from it. You know what I'm saying? You're never going to find a woman who could like uphold that standard. She's going to take what you tell her. You know what I mean? And it's the molding part. She'll take what you taught her and be like, "Oh, you said this," so she'll hold that back to you. But as far as initially having that when y'all start, that's not going to be there, because I say it all the time. The same woman, the woman in the pews, will date the pastor and the drug dealer on the street. Why do you think that is? You know what I'm saying? So all they really know is clout and nothing outside of that to start. You got a loss.
If I had to give a young man some advice, the first thing I would say, she has to have some kind of interest in what you're doing. If she's not interested in anything that you're doing, how can she help? That's one of the first things that God gave Eve a commandment, was to help. So how can she help you if she's not interested in what you're doing? If she doesn't, help you, whatever it is that you're doing, support you, that's the whole point of having a wife. I think today we got it mixed up. I think the women want the men to support them. But my thing is what direction are you going? You know what I'm saying? Not to say that you don't have a valid direction or a valid compass, but we already know that sometimes, man, depending upon what the situation is, people's, direction may change, So the one of the things I would probably tell them is find somebody who has some type of interest in what you're doing. So that way you at least know they care about you and your mission. And if they sign up for the mission, that's somebody that can help you along the way. But that's one of the things I would probably do, and how she takes care of herself, how she takes care of home, those people around her. You don't want somebody who's creating enemies for you behind your back. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing, being unruly in the streets, and now you got to figure out exactly how to protect your home when you got the enemy within, But I would normally start with young men. I would say, first of all, you need to get around somebody who's used to picking winners. Don't listen to people who have never picked a winner. Like we talked about wise counsel. So, hey, look, here's the thing. When you're looking for a wife, let's go ask somebody who's been married 30, 40 years and ask them what made them choose their wife. And then find out exactly what's the common denominator between all these other guys who've been married for a long time, the guys who seem to be happy, the guys whose wives seem to be on the same page as their husband. Those are the guys I would probably seek counsel for, or point them in that direction and say, hey, this is where you start. Help these guys around the house, get around them, give them something for your time. You know what I mean? Sit at the feet of the masters so you can figure out exactly and learn how to do this thing. And then once you get that information, then you'll be able to reset and calibrate your compass. And then you'll say, hey, look, this is the direction I'm going to. So you'll automatically know who to disqualify and who to keep. And I think it all starts with whether or not you decide to keep this one or get rid of this one. That makes it whether or not you want to have some kind of clay that you're going to build with, or you're going to be building your house on sand. So I would always tell them, make sure you seek wise counsel first before you do anything else.
No, and I think I agree with that. I think that you should be selective in the counsel you choose as well, because you don't want to get him caught up in the counsel that says happy wife, happy life. There's a lot of old cats out here teaching that, and that is just not what it is. And they think they teaching you the game, and they think they teaching you what it is. Oh man, listen, when you get with her, doc, you got to understand now, doc. That's how they talk. You got to understand, doc, when you get with her now, happy wife, happy life now, man. If you got to make her happy, it ain't about you now. You go to work and you work yourself to death for that woman. And that's just not simply what it is. If you are getting with a woman who is more interested in your coin than your character, you just have to move differently. And even with the counsel, because I heard a guy on the internet say the other day, he says it takes a village. He said people say all the time it takes a village. He said, but what if the village is retarded? And I think that
it may be time to leave, buddy. It might be time to leave town, buddy.
Exactly. If the village is retarded, when men are telling you to stick around or stay in something that is not good for you. I think that we get around counsel that's a religious counsel who have rewritten the Bible in their own minds, and they're giving bad advice, who are telling me, and the Bible says that I want you to live and live more abundantly. But the pastor will tell you, stay with that woman and let her verbally abuse you for the next 20 years and you be fine. Until you get cancer and die and miserable man, or stay with that woman if she's physically abusive. Stay with that woman if she's financially abusive. Stay with that woman if she won't do anything for you. Stay with her. It's okay. God gonna work it out. No, God didn't say that to me. God said to me in the Bible, what did he say? He said, if any man finds indecency in his wife, he is to give her a certificate of divorce and tell her to leave his home. God did not create us as men to be disrespected. He did not create us to be verbally and physically abused or embarrassed in front of people, or being embarrassed just because of the behavior of a woman. God created us to be respected. What does it say? It says, woman, respect your husbands. That's what it says. And so I think that we should watch out the counsel that we sit around with and talk to, because I remember growing up, my uncles, I grew up in Louisiana, so you got to know what they be saying. Happy wife, happy life. And half of my uncles, half of my relatives are in the ground dead because they worked themselves to death for a woman who is still alive and married to another man. So I rest my case there. Any of y'all want to add anything else before we move on?
Why do you think they say happy life, happy wife? Because we hear it all the time. But I want to dig into that. Why do you think they say that?
I believe they say happy wife, happy life because they just literally given up. They don't want to make her mad. They put her first so far up. I mean, that she's on a pedestal. They put her on a pedestal, and they fear. Men have this thing where they don't have any confidence. Sometimes you get in relationships and your confidence seems to expire. And so now you know that you can't move. You don't feel like you can move on. You feel like you've invested too much. You feel like you could just stay and be around this woman. So, I don't want to piss her off and then also you have to look at this, sex as a weapon. Most men enjoy having sex. And so I know somebody right now, shout out to my brother Rico out there. I know somebody right now who will be in a relationship with someone and his wife will tell him straight up, hey, if you piss her off, you can't touch her for a week. If you make her mad, she ain't giving you nothing for a week. She already ain't giving it to you multiple times a week now. But if you piss her off, you may not get none until Christmas. You may not get none until Easter. You may not get none until she full of that liquor when she come home from the club with her friends from getting something taking all them shots. You may not get none then. But I'm telling you, that's what most men live off of. They live off the fear that the woman is going to deprive them of something. But we got to go to the Bible again, since we're talking about the Bible tonight. And a godly woman, the Bible says, woman, do not deprive your husband of sexual desires unless you both agree. And if you do agree,
they don't read the Bible.
They
listen to the pastor. They don't read the Bible. They just whatever the pastor says will go.
Exactly. Exactly. So I believe happy wife, happy life should be thrown away. I think that it's trash. I think it's garbage. I think a lot of women take advantage of their men when it comes to happy wife, happy life. I think that men should just stand firm. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to keep it as unfiltered as possible. I think men should just get to the point where they just stop letting pussy run. Stop letting pussy play you out your manhood. Stop letting pussy play you out your manhood. You up here, a pussy is controlling you completely, where the point you can't even make a decision in your household without looking over at her saying, baby, is that okay? Is that all right? I don't want to make you mad to the point you stop giving me some. No, you have to stop letting pussy be the trophy in your house. Because how many times, if most men just think about it, how many times have you had sex with your wife? 60, 100, 200 times, 300 times. That was probably in the first time. That was probably in the first 6 months of y'all dating. But since you got married, how many times you actually getting sex anyway? Once a week? Once a month? The average man right now, if you look it up and you Google it, the average married man right now is having sex once a month. So if you're doing once a month, what the hell are you losing if you stand up as a man and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is where we're going. And you're not going to talk to me like that. Sit down and hush. What you going to do? Stop giving it to you once a month? You ain't getting it right now. So happy wife, happy life, throw that shit in the trash. It is trash. And men out there, if I hear you say it, I might slap the shit out you because you've lost yourself. You lost your mind saying happy wife, happy life. Go ahead, Prototype. You want to say something?
Yeah, the happy wife, happy life thing, I think it sounds like a marketing, like the diamonds are a girl's best friend. I think it's along the same lines. I'm not sure where exactly it came from. You know what I mean? But that's what it sounds like. It was a commercial that stuck around, you know what I'm saying? And it was a way to make, guys spend more money on the holidays, or, buying a house for the woman, or, getting her a car. It sounds like a marketing scheme.
Yep.
Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you crazy? Fucking guy.
R-Pain's in the building tonight. What's going on, R-Pain? Good to see you, my brother.
Hey, gentlemen, what's going on, man?
What's happening, R-Pain?
R-Pain, you came in at the right time, R-Pain. And a lot of men have to understand.
These hoes ain't loyal. You gotta find somebody.
R-Pain, so what are your thoughts? I really want you to answer the question that Lost in Translation just placed at our feet. What does it mean to you? Because I know you say this a lot too, because boomers probably created this bullshit. So
here we go.
Happy wife, happy life. Do you agree with the term? And if you don't agree with the term, why do you think men still say it to this day?
Well, I mean, okay. Well, first of all, I never believed in that term, man. We never use that here in this house. You know what I'm saying? But that's not to say my wife isn't happy. You know, but one of the things is that I never wanted to be the center of her happiness. You know, I think that's a mistake. You know, she has a lot of stuff, and I have a lot of stuff that we do together, and stuff that makes her happy on her own. I never tried to be the center of her happiness. You know, I just want to make sure that, you know, that we're in lockstep in the way we want to live and raise our kids and go through life, and put a little protective strip around our relationship that nobody else could get into. But I never really felt overly overly responsible for making her joyful every goddamn day. You know, I mean, even today, I mean, you know, I mean, but the fact is that we're simpatico that way. You know, so it's not forced, it's natural. You know, but we have completely different kind of things I like. I mean, she don't like sports at all, but I could watch the shit all day. You know, and we don't clash because I don't overdo it. Like, for example, I'm gonna end it there. Like football season, it's like 17 days, like 17 Sundays that I used to go to a sports bar. Out of 365 days of responsibility, 17 freaking days were mine where I told her, just don't call me, just take care of shit. I'm in the sports bar. You know what I'm saying? And then that's not much for me to unwind from the week and the travel and all that shit. And she understood. You know? And so those kind of things, those are the kind of agreements we had. So, I mean, and that's just one little example. But some women would deny a man even those 17 fucking days.
Why can't they? So my question is this, and then we'll go into this, because I want to go into the first segment of the night after we chop up after this, which is no-fault divorce. We're going to talk about that because a lot of godly women really embrace no-fault divorce. But I just want to ask this question to you real quick. What is it that this is what the women are asking? What is it that a man wants from a wife or a woman? What does she have to be in order to be with a man that has stature like Lost in Translation, Myself, Our Pain, Prototype? What do men need? What are the key things? If we can do three things, what do men need in order for him to come home in a rush to get to that woman every day after a long day? What do we need? What are we looking for?
Who first?
Marpe, you can go.
Go ahead, Marpe.
What respect?
That's a big one, Doc.
I mean, respect. Just real quick. I mean, you could throw out three: respect, exclusivity. Right, that's another thing that's important to us.
Agreed.
And you know what? And women are supposed to be nurturing. We don't never say that shit enough. Whatever that definition of nurturing is, that's what they're supposed to be by nature. And that's one of the things that they lack big time. We don't got a lot of nurturing fucking women around. You know, and so I mean, I put that as a third, but you can find anything else that you want to put in there. But our list is short. I mean, maybe my list is short. You know, some men might have a longer list, but we ain't coming out with 28 points. I know that. Yeah, I know we don't got 28 points. And respect got to be at the top. You know, believing in the vows, the covenant, those kind of things. You know, my wife would never call me her partner, right? She doesn't even call me by my name. My wife, I can't remember the last time my wife called me by Richard. She calls me husband all the time. You know, she sent me a text message.
Or daddy. She don't call you daddy?
Well, you know, that's none of your goddamn business.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I'm paying for it. Watch yourself now. Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm having the conversation. It's funny. I'm gonna leave it here. When she calls me, it's like a call. It's like a call, you know. And then, you know, anytime she texts me, it's always, "Hey there, husband." It's like, you know, and just the word just pops out. That's why I have a big fundamental issue when I hear women talking about partners. Because we do have a partnership, but we didn't need to be married for that.
Mm.
And we didn't, we're a partnership in my house, but I didn't have to marry her for that. We're a partnership with our children, but I didn't necessarily have to marry her for that. So I mean, the covenant with God and the vows we took in front of family that tied our families together, that shit's important. And partners don't do
that. Hey, so Prototype, real quick, what are your three? What do you need?
I'm not going to say it's three, but I mean, the first thing I'm coming home looking for is somebody attractive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna keep it funky. Like, I know a lot of guys. I mean, some guys say looks don't matter or the 10 or you got to look good for me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking for some cheeks to grab on. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
I'm looking for some thighs. You know what I mean? To squish my
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? A nipple to flick, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, come on now.
A shoulder to bite, like so the first thing I'm looking for is all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm coming home, I'm grabbing cheeks, I'm biting face, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's first, and then it's the nurturing part. Oh, you hungry? You want something to eat? You know what I'm saying? You thirsty? You know what I mean? You want two fingers? You know what I'm saying? A bourbon, I say. We clear that up. Clear that up. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? She like to get you got your cigar and your bourbon, ready. Like, so that kind of stuff is what I'm looking for first. But yeah, then the support of common interests. Are you a good time? You know what I'm saying? Can we sit? Can we conversate? Like, is it going to be enjoyable me telling you about my day? Are you going to have some feedback for me? Can we play cards and chill? Like, you know what I'm saying? Can we hang out together? Do I enjoy your company? Are you not a weirdo? You know what I'm saying? Do you have any funny quirks? You gonna make me laugh? Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you have a personality? You know what I'm saying? Are we cheering for the sports? Are you gonna bother me while I'm doing the things I like to do? Are you gonna ask me to do some things I don't want to do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Those kind of things. So that's what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of needs does she have? Is she gonna ask me to do a bunch of stuff that I don't want to do? You know what I'm saying? Does she have habits that I don't appreciate? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like women that's not ladylike. You know what I'm saying? You can't spit, fart, and burp around me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real with you. You know what I'm saying? You can't handle ugly feet around me. You know what I mean? Go get your feet done. Are you well taken care of? That type of deal. You know what I'm saying?
And you talk.
That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? And you know, another one odd thing about me though is, like, if you don't have any coordination, that's like a turn off. Like, if you throw like a girl, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, my wife played college softball, so you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta play catch. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can sit there and play a game for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So it's that kind of stuff that I appreciate.
All right, lost in translation. Then we're gonna jump right into these topics for tonight.
Right. I was gonna steal Prototypes. The first one, you know what I'm saying? She got to be fine or whatever, you know. Be double cheeked up, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a little bit more old school and arcane when it comes to mine. I'm a traditionalist. I believe in love, honor, and obey. You know, and there's a reason for each one of those. Love activates my go-get-itness. You know what I'm saying? If you match my love, there's nothing that I can't do or wouldn't do for you. You know, that's what husbands do anyway. Honor means to make sure that you respect me. You see what I'm saying? Honor me when I'm here. Honor me when I'm not around. You know what I mean? Honor me around other people. You know what I mean? So I can help, you know, make sure that we have the connection that we need to lead the family forward. And obey is, if you trust me to be your husband, then you have already know I've considered, you know, what needs to be done next. And I'm not going to just, you know, not, you know, have your consideration and your will and consideration. But at the end of the day, I need to know that if I say something, and we've already talked about it, it's going to be executed. You see what I'm saying? That type of thing. We got to be on the same page. It can't be one person doing what they want to do. That's where surprises come from. That's where insecurities leak out. You know what I mean? If I wanted to go shopping and, you know, we got this to handle over here, you know, will you give into your insecurities and go shopping? versus, you know, what we already talked about. You know, obey is one of those things that we wanted to remove from the vows because guys wanted to take advantage of a situation and just say, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna let her slide and let her do it. And they wind up in these situations with happy life, happy wife, when all you had to do is engage obey. You know what I'm saying? Obey would eliminate all of that foolishness. You see what I'm saying? But we don't talk about that no more because we're too busy trying to appease our own desires to get what we need to get. But at the end of the day, what's the point of being married if you guys can't agree? So obey is one of those things that I need to have happen. You know, and a lot of people don't want to talk about that. I promise you, if you start using the word obey around women, it will automatically eliminate the ones you don't need to deal with. You know, it's just like Kevin used to say, fit, feminine, and friendly. When you start talking that type of stuff, that'll automatically eliminate a whole bunch of women who don't want to, you know, hold up their end of the bargain. You know, I wrote a song about it, redid it. It's called Fit, Soft, and Friendly. You can check it out on Lost in Translation podcast. I had to put the plug in there. But that's a part of it, though, man. You know, you got to have someone on the same page.
And I just want to take a moment here before we jump into the rest of it. I feel my preacher voice coming here. Prototype was on to something when he said it's something about grabbing those cheeks. There's something about seeing those thighs and looking in those brown eyes. There's something fair by looking at her here and there with all of that long hair. There's something about her lips and something about the way she rocks her hips. It is something. And so when you said that I had PTSD, I start talking in tongues for a little bit there because I understand how it feels to grab those cheeks. There's nothing like coming home to a fine woman. Now, I will say to the guys out there right now, if you're rolling over every morning and cuddling up with a bag of potatoes, I feel so bad for you. I feel so bad for you because there's nothing like watching your woman get dressed in the morning and she puts on something that makes you think about it all day. And when you get home, you can have it your way. Amen. All right, we're going to move on. I got some super chats over here before we move forward. All right, we got Prince Antoine 722 $5 super chat. He said, happy wife, happy wife in the immortal words of Embrace the Grace. Happy King, happy kingdom. Thank you for the $5 super chat. We got another one right here. He says, prototype sounding like Marcus Graham, Eddie Murphy, Boomerang. All right, I'll play a little something right here. We'll take a little break. I'll play this for just a few seconds, and then we'll hop back into these points that we want to get to tonight. Here we go.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now.
You're on mute, man.
Appreciate it.
Man.
Yeah. Appreciate it. This is America. All right. So I do want to hop into this no-fault divorce, but I want to play the videos first because I want to give us a reference on what we're talking about. Because no-fault divorce, I think it is the worst thing that has ever been created in the symphony halls of man. I think that there's no winning for a man with a no-fault divorce. Absolutely not whatsoever. So I'm going to play this video first, and then we'll discuss it after. Let's see, where is it at? Play this first one. Here we go. Play this one first.
No-fault divorce is basically a way of saying, we are no longer trying to put any pressure on you to stay together. You don't even have to give a justification for splitting up. It's a lot easier to get out of a marriage contract than it is to get out of any other contract. That's really bad because of all the things that we were trying to avoid by regulating marriage in the first place. Right. This isn't a point that's callous to the difficulties of marriage, by the way. There are lots of studies that suggest that couples who have serious difficulties but decide to stay together 5 years later, in the majority of cases, are very happy. Right. So it could be even for the couple's own good. In fact, when I invite people to my wedding, part of what I'm doing is inviting them to put pressure on me to stay together. The idea is the community has an interest in this, it's invested in this, and we, as well as the community, have an interest in the community encouraging us to stay together. We do that partly through culture and partly through law, and no-fault divorce is a direct repudiation of that.
on what Trump is saying he wants to change divorce laws.
So what he's referring to is getting rid of the at-fault divorce or getting rid of people being entitled to 50% of another person's assets. Let me preference this. Right now, today, as the law is written, he does not have the authority to come into each state and rewrite the law. The 10th Amendment says that anything that is not governed by the U.S. Constitution is reserved for the states per the 10th Amendment. Property laws, marital laws are governed by each state, which is why you have some states who are separate property, some states that are community property, right? He can influence, he can definitely have influence. Unless the Supreme Court is going to change the 10th Amendment, I don't foresee that happening whatsoever. But there are a lot of conservative states that are trying to get rid of the at-fault reason because they feel like it's unfair to men. So Texas, we're in our 89th legislative session. We have House Bill 931, which basically allows people to enter into a covenant marriage. What that means is you go to the court, you sign an affidavit, you do counseling, and you say, basically, we're going to get married. This is a covenant marriage, and we are not allowed to get a divorce unless the other person agrees. And if we get a divorce, there is no such thing as an at-fault divorce. It's a no-fault divorce, and we're splitting everything 50-50.
I got one more. Oh man, maybe that'll work.
Maybe we should take them all one at a time because there's different.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Let's get some context here. So go ahead, Arpane. What do you think about that video?
Well, I mean, the first one with the dude, I agree with him. I guess he's trying to say we need to get rid of it. I mean, but just like all laws, no fault divorce had its purpose when it was first written, and it's no longer valid. That is no longer valid, right? Because there's not a judge in this country that's going to keep a woman married to a man that beats her. That means there's a legitimate reason to leave a man. But just getting up and doing a graduation tour like Tira Mowry, she should have never been able to divorce her husband based on those grounds. This lady who just came up, I'm just going to be real quick, but this lady who just came up, I've heard about the covenant marriage and stuff that way. But even with her, what was the point that she made? When she said the federal government has no means of enforcing a nationwide federal mandate on marriage. Well, she's probably the same woman who argued the federal government taking away abortion, right? Because by the same token, the federal government probably shouldn't have been able to mandate abortion from over each state, right? We found out the states are the best place to do it. So, based on legislation and all that kind of stuff, you can manipulate yourself that no fault divorce can be a national kind of thing. After California started it, and all of a sudden it spread state to state. So there's no absolutes when it comes to how we can manipulate the law, as long as it's you could fix it. It's all a matter of votes, right? Some states can sign up to the federal law, but they won't. But we need to just get it started. Once no fault divorce falls in one state, it could start to snowball in other states. That's what I'm saying. It just needs to start.
Prototype. What are your thoughts on no fault divorce?
Whenever you try to do a godly thing in a worldly manner, it's going to be chaotic. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily care about the no fault divorce. If we can make it fair, okay, no fault, we split it 50-50. But I mean, the world going to do what the world going to do. Now, it's unfortunate that, men, I don't know why you be married if you're not a believer anyway. Why are you getting married? I would, if I wasn't a Christian, I probably would be married. I'm be 100. You know what I'm saying? So if it wasn't, I don't know. I wouldn't get married if I wasn't following Christ. It does suck, like if men are getting hit with with the child support and the rears and the spousal support. Yeah, that sucks. We need to fix that. You know what I'm saying? But Don't make people stay together. Let them split up. You know what I'm saying? And go on about their merry way. You know what I'm saying? So I support that. I just don't support taking advantage. You know, getting married for the come up like that. So.
All right, or lost in translation, no fault marriage. What are you thinking?
You know what? I'm glad she spoke. This is a lady from Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they always want to pull out laws that benefit other people. Well, there are also laws in Texas where if you introduce a woman as your wife 3 times in public, you're already married. But those are those obscure laws that nobody knows about, but they're still on the books. As far as no fault is concerned, that to me is the antithesis of why you get married in the first place. You're supposed to be getting married forever, you know? And my thing is whoever initiates it, the divorce gets nothing because they defaulted on their end of the bargain. So if you decide you want to leave, well, guess what? You leave with nothing. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be rewarded for getting up and deciding, hey, I want to leave, give me my half. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. If the man decides, hey, I want to put you away, yes, you should pay her to go on about her business because it wasn't her idea. And if the woman decides she want to leave the man, I think she should pay up, you know, because she's in essence putting him in a position he didn't sign up for. You see what I'm saying? So I think it should be that way. Whoever initiates it, that's the person who should pay the brunt of the divorce. Since you decide you want to leave, I think you're the one who should take on the responsibility of paying both attorneys and also paying the majority of spousal fees or whatever else like that. To me, that's fair. That's fair if you ask me. If they want to go that route, but like I said, we got to get judges in place to see it that way. And how many judges actually going to benefit from said situation? We have a bunch of judges that are not partial. With a bunch of attorneys, they're going to do what they do. But at the end of the day, the person who decides they want to initiate the divorce, that's who really should pay. I mean, if we're going to be honest about it and be fair.
Now, my thoughts would be a no-fault divorce for me would be the fact that if you got a good man in your life, you're a woman, you got a good man in your life, and you meet another guy, and just because he looks a little better, you think the grass is green on the other side, or you just, if you have a really, I'm being specific here, I'm being intentional here. If you have a good man, with the no-fault divorce, that woman can look at you and say, I'm bored with you, and I no longer want to be with you. And she could just pack her shit, leave, and take half of everything that you have. Just because she's bored with you. Mm-hmm. It's just like at will employment in Texas. They can just fire you because they want to.
But you don't keep getting a paycheck and they don't give you a half a year's severance, do they? When you decide to quit, right?
No.
That's the difference. Like, I'm not opposed to leaving when you're bored. I'm not opposed to that. It's I gotta pay you spousal support or take half my stuff. That's the problem.
Right.
If it's you take your stuff and I'll take mine, you bored, all right, be gone. You know what I'm saying? We keep this thing moving.
Yeah. Because like Cam Newton said, when they kept repeatedly asking him about marriage, Cam Newton said, I'm not afraid of getting married. He said, I'm afraid of being divorced. Because he knows that with the money that he has, that he will have 50% of that. If she chooses to be bored and say, I'm done, I don't want to do this no more.
Well, 50% is subjective. You could have less than 50%.
You're right. I agree. Plus she'll get half of everything, plus spousal support, plus child support.
And not forget his pension from the
NFL. You know what makes me mad about that, not to go on a tangent, I wish he was a little bit more astute on the comeback, because he should have put people in their place about him getting married a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because T.D. Jakes asked him the same thing. I just saw some of that. And he asked him, he said, well, would you have been more comfortable if you didn't have the money? He said, of course. He says, because you really can't vet somebody when you're that rich and that, even if they love you, So he has, he understands. So, but really, no fault divorce would eat him alive.
Yep.
Women looking at the clock in this state is 5 years to be fully vested. Some states is 10 years, and they're looking at the clock. You know, so they have a loaded gun at your head, man. It's crazy. Now, I say all this, but I don't have no prenup and stuff like that with my wife. I wasn't even thinking about it. You know, but it's a different day now. It's just a different day now.
Yeah, you know, I don't understand why they're bothering Cam Newton when he got women who signed up for the deal he's offering.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? If they're willing to have his babies, you know what I'm saying? And then that's the deal that they struck up. Then why is everybody outside of that situation got something to say about it?
The thing is that he takes care of, I think all the kids live with him. You know, I think the fact is nobody can dispute what kind of dad he is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Same thing with Cam Newton. Nick Cannon.
Right.
You know, now I wouldn't say the same thing about Stephon Diggs.
Right.
Or future, you know what I'm saying?
Those women signed up for that deal now.
Yeah.
That's the deal they signed up for. They know
Sean
they
Kemp,
got Holyfield.
But okay, so one of the other things I wanted to get to, since we got
another video.
Yeah, no. I got one for this one coming up that I'm about to do, because we're talking about the godly woman. Is it a myth? A lot of religious women are doing no-fault divorces, and for no reason at all. Now I can see if he cheated, the Bible gives you permission to leave. If he cheated, if he puts his hands on you, he beating the hell out of you, you get out of it. But women who are in the church, they go to church and they listen to women. This is the segment we segued into. They listen to women preachers who tell them, who encourage them, who puts things in their head that makes them want to leave. Now, I think being a godly woman, I think that a woman, period, godly or ungodly, should not be in the pulpit trying to preach or deliver the word, because basically the scripture says it is completely against that. The Bible says that I do not permit a woman to teach nor usurp authority over a man. And so when you see these things, you see women by the droves following these preacher women and listening to what they have to say, and they're taking it home. And these let me just play the video. I'm gonna play the video. Let's see. Yeah. Which one I want to play first? This one.
Ain't about what she looked like. The woman, all right. I'm about to take it off. It ain't never. Sometimes you need to see it from the platform so you can do it with your platform. It ain't always gonna be cute. It ain't always gonna be pretty. But one thing's for sure, it's gonna always be God. And I don't care what they say about.
Okay.
She guys, I'll tell you something. I just want to say this, okay? She not done. She not done.
We got come take these shoes off my feet.
Come take.
We got work to do. If y'all gotta go, I know you've been up all day, and I know some of you are ready to go home. But we got a stronghold to break. We got work to do in the spirit realm. Nobody came all this way to stay the same way. Nobody went out of their way to walk out of here believing the way they believed before. I said I'm looking for a woman who's had to believe something about God that she's never believed before. I want to prophesy in this room about the God I know. I can't tell you about Buddha. I can't tell you about Allah. But baby, I can tell you something about
you. Now y'all see this, right? You see where I'm going with this? Now, this one right here, Prototype was talking about this earlier about Adam and Eve. And let's just see what she has to say.
Snake began to speak to Eve. The Bible says Adam was right there. You know, for a long time, we've made this a woman problem. But the women need to be redeemed. Because while Eve was minding her business and the snake showed up, guess who was next to her? Adam. It's in the Bible. The Bible says Adam was right there. And since he was quiet, Eve said, let me speak up. Okay? But Adam was right there. The problem was not the snake. The moment Adam recognized that you are speaking outside your place, he would have executed judgment on him. You see, the judgment of the Lord upon the serpents was the judgment that Adam should have executed on the snake in the authority God had given him. Because the moment the
What are y'all thinking?
That's what happened when you let folks in the pulpit that don't supposed to be up there. You can't listen. We talked about this last week, man, about people taking the word and changing it into something that is completely not what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I hate when people do that. I always tell people, I don't have to cheat you to beat you. You ain't got to go in and rearrange definitions just so you can get a win. You know what I mean? We call that a straw man argument. Nowhere in the Bible that it says that the serpent talked to Eve and Adam was there just chilling and he didn't say nothing. And he had dominion over everything. Nowhere did he say that. And to me, it's blasphemous when people get up and they do stuff like that. And my whole thing, as men, we should stand up and say, hey, you're wrong. You know what I mean? Stop them right there in their tracks. Because if you let them continue to do it, they're going to rewrite history like we know people love to do and change the meaning of stuff. And when we wonder why your life don't work, it's because you changed the recipe. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's the issue that we have. We have too many people remaining quiet when they should be speaking up when wrong is afoot. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Hey, first thing I was going to say, Mitt, I know, I mean, I'm not even that, non-secular. I said, it sounds like she's lying her ass off. I never heard that. I never heard that interpretation in my entire life.
Exactly.
I mean, you know what? There's some fault that if we want to have a true discussion of the Bible in that situation, that we could have, like Adam should have never partaked of what she was offering him because he knew that was wrong. But that's a completely different story, that he was just some bumpkin sitting there while his girl was being seduced by a serpent. That's a whole different story. So I don't know, man. You know what?
But how many women believed
like I
it?
said, hold on, time out though. You got to go back to another point I made.
Yeah.
I have heard that word preached.
Yeah, have you? Okay.
Yeah. I have heard that word preached. But it goes back to what I said. Women don't read the Bible. They only listen to what the preacher says. So if somebody preached it and they heard it and she's just spiraling out with it, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anything to get rid of the accountability. Expecting accountability and integrity is just like, that's the two things that we mess up as men, is expecting from women. We trying to find a woman with some integrity and some accountability, and we wonder why we can't find it. I mean, last night, I know we've been having this conversation for years now. You know what I'm saying? And I know you believe that we can't just let them go. Don't let them off the hook. But I mean, find me one. Find me one that you didn't have to mold into what your idea is of it.
Oh yeah, I can dig it. And they want to take that away from you too. Listen, men have allowed women to invade every single space that we have. They invade every space that men have. But we can't even clear our heads without women being around. We can't clear our heads without men who want women involved and around. Some things are just none of their business. And there's a whole bunch of men who wouldn't agree with that. Doesn't mean that we have to be against women, but we don't have no spaces anymore. Now, they're getting ready to learn that when the swinging Charlies start to invade their space. getting a little glimpse of that with the transvestites invading their spaces. So we saw
what happened. You saw what happened in the Olympics when the old girl got her hopes and dreams knocked out of by old boy. You know what I'm saying? The boxing Olympics.
Let me say this though. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened because Black women are the number one supporter and the number one bonder of being with these sissies and these trans men. And they invite them in, they welcome them. These men become them, they copy them. They got the same makeup on, they're wearing the same clothes, they're wearing the same perfume, they're going to the same clubs, they're sitting up doing pillow talk. These trans men are learning everything they can about these women. And now you're mad because they're getting into your sports and they're taking your gold medals and they're winning these swimming races, wrestling matches now, because now you got them in wrestling. Now they're in the MMA and now they're doing UFC and they're breaking other women's eye sockets and now they're in karate competitions and kicking your throats off, and now you're mad, but you are the one supporting these men. You are the support system. So I'm glad that it's happening. I'm happy. I'm happy that it's happening because my grandmother used to say all the time when she told me to do something and I did the reverse of what she said, she said, son, a hard head makes a soft ass. That means if you don't listen to what the warning I'm giving you, it's going to be worse off on you. And that's what's happening in the world right now. These trans men are taking over. I was looking at, what's the young lady name who support Trump? What's her name? The yellow skin, big eyes.
Yeah, man, my girl. Yeah.
Have you seen her son? Her son is transitioning and she said, I don't give a damn. He can transition all he wants to. He grown, but I don't got nothing to do with him. I ain't got nothing.
You talk about somebody different. I don't know who you talk about now.
Yeah. And that when they show the picture of him, he looks 100%. If you didn't know, he looks just like a woman. And so now he's in the group. So bring him on in, keep embracing them, and give them what they want. It's simple. But let me get this this super chat. Let's see. Prince. Okay, he says, say what you want. That's the one perk on being Catholic. The shepherd of the flock is a man. Now, I will say this too, Prince. I ain't want to do this. The shepherd of the flock is a man, but half of the man be... they be hemming them little boys up.
They're
they be hemming them up. I'm gonna give you this dance real quick, and then we're gonna hop back on the next.
Did you get the other super chats?
Yeah, I did. All right. So
now you got to tie all this thing into no fault for.
Yeah, man. So listen. Now I want to get to. I want to play this other video because I think it means a lot. We're gonna slide right on over to this prototype's probably favorite segment when we talk about submission. I think a godly woman is submissive. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the characteristics of a godly woman. Now, I have a woman here who is sitting in an interview talking about how submissive she is to her man. And I definitely wanted you guys to hear what she had to say. Here she is.
Submissive woman do for her man?
Everything.
What does that mean?
All the things that he wants, and like I pretty much read his mind. So it's like if I know you and I study you, like I know how you are in the morning, I know how you are about midday, I know when you're in this mood, what you need. Like before you can ever ask me for something, I'm already on it.
You see, that's what I was trying to explain.
Shut the fuck up.
You're right. This chick is the biggest 304 in the world.
Which one?
Sham Booty? Are you kidding me?
Oh, the girl in the yellow?
Oh man, shit, she's like a sex therapist.
Oh wow! So the girl she talking to, or the girl that asked the question?
No. The other one I think is Cam Newton's girl.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I mean, it's prototype.
Like I said earlier, whatever they sign up for, that's your business.
Exactly.
I don't trust nobody with no septum ring. So have at it.
No what?
with them nose rings. I don't trust
Oh,
nobody.
man. Oh, man.
Listen, I watched that video 1,000 times, but the minute I looked up and I saw that septum on, I was like, you know what? I can't believe nothing come out of her mouth.
Yeah. Hey, now, because it takes you to
man.
Proverbs, don't it? Let me. Come on, Doc.
I got a song in a septum ring. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, you gonna get you one, RB?
No. So I did a video on a song on septum.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you were getting one. I'm sorry.
No. Hell no. There's a septum thing really. Theory is real.
Now I want to play this last one because, and this is for somebody in the chat said, "What about the male preachers?" Yes, there are some male preachers out there who are leading women astray as well. And here's one of them.
Boaz has some relatives, and if you don't watch it, you won't get the one God has for you. You'll get his relatives. To the girls, I found this on the internet. Boaz is spelled B-O-A-Z. Everybody say B-O-A-Z. And so he's got some relatives called broke ass, po ass, lying ass, cheating ass, dumb ass, drunk ass. Don't go out with him. Cheap ass. Turn to somebody and say, I dated him. Locked up ass, good for nothing ass, lazy ass, and especially his third cousin beating your ass. Wait on your Boaz and make sure he respects your ass. Now there's your word. You wanted a word, you got a word. Quit dating anything on two legs. Let God take you through some loneliness. Let God take you through the wilderness.
I don't know, man. That wasn't that bad.
Prototype, it seems like he liked that a lot. Prototype, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
I mean, as long as God is taking you through loneliness and wilderness, you're paying the church for it. You know what I'm saying? So of course the pastor's going to be like, yeah, be single, be this, be that. You know what I mean? Because you're going to make sure you tie them high salaries that them ladies is not be making now. What was the one? Oh, Gurley in the submission. You know, I kind of agree with her, right? Like a woman that loves you will watch after you. You know what I'm saying? Will make sure you're good, you straight. You know, me personally, one thing I do, I leave the cabinets open. You know what I'm saying? My wife don't even fuss at me. She just goes and closes the cabinets behind me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just those little things that are always watching behind you. You know what I mean? I can't think of the word, but just somebody that, you know, just kind of always is kind of like thinking about what you need before you even need it. You know what I'm saying? Those things are important, but at the same time, you got to teach her those things that you need. You know what I'm saying? Or she'll never know.
Yeah, I mean, you're right though, man. That anticipation, man, is great when your honey's doing some stuff that you don't even ask.
Man,
every so often I gotta tell my wife. I said, "Listen, chill. I got this." I said, "I got to, you don't listen. You don't have to do it." So when I actually have to be careful when I say certain things to her, because if she takes it as I need her to do something, sometimes I have to clarify. I say, "No, I don't want you to do anything. I just want to let you know I'm gonna take care of it." But this is what's going on, because she's like almost on it all the time. I said, "I'm talking to you." I said, "I'm not really asking you to do anything. I'm just letting you know." You know, but she just jumps on it, man. I say, sheesh. You know, so that's right.
We left that out earlier. Guys. We left it out earlier, and I'm going to add it right now. There's nothing better. Listen to me. Women, listen to me. Get your pens and paper out. Get your pen and paper out. There is nothing better for a man that has a woman who will do everything for him, and he don't have to ask for it. Let me say it again. Our Payne just made a valid point. There's nothing better than to be sitting on the couch thinking about something you want or something you need, and all of a sudden she starts doing it. She brings you something out of the fridge. She brings you something to eat, bring you a sandwich. Took care of something that you thought about taking care of that you forgot about. Made a list, made a grocery list, made this. There's something about a woman who thinks for her man, who not in that way, but thinks about her man and is for her man. There's nothing like it, brother. I experience it every day. Hey, I want to shout. I experience it. Clip that. I experience it every day. Well, a woman just I said, damn, I didn't even have to ask for it. You don't have to ask for it. And if you get that kind of woman, God bless you. God loves you. And I do too. No. But there's nothing like it. And our pain, I know you say you experience, there's nothing like a woman that's just a go-getter and she just want to make sure you happy, want to make sure you good. Because you know what that's a reflection of though? Your woman is a reflection of you. And if you're giving your woman and you pouring into your woman and you giving your woman what she needs, she will definitely show up for you if she's a good one. Now, if you giving her all this stuff and you pouring into her and she sit on the couch and stick out an attitude, mouth poked out, cussing, disrespectful, toxic, then you need to exit left. But if you're pouring into that woman and she get up every day and she's doing things without you even asking for it, keep her. And you land on the bed watching TV and she start giving you head, keep her. Stop. I'm telling you, come in, listen, we all men here. I'm telling you, sex is not a bad thing. It's not. We got to stop talking about sex like it's a bad thing. If that woman coming in and jump on that thing and start riding that thing just because she feel like it, just because she feel like you need some, I just start slobbering them out. If you just start, I saw Drew. You see that? But it's just something about it. Then she come in and not only that, she's sexy, got them cheeks, and she just, boy, listen, I'm gonna move on. Or get off the show. Go ahead, Lost in Translation. You have something you want to say?
Yeah, man. Mercy. You know, we sometimes we look at stuff like this. We always like to look at the obvious. I'm not built like that. I like to look at the not so obvious. There's a term that pimps use called dirty macking, and we have too many preachers in the pulpit who like the dirty mac on other men. Here's my whole thing. What I mean,
I ain't heard that in a long time, boy.
You don't have to tear down another man to build yourself up.
Exactly.
Too many times we have preachers who like to get on TV, high side, and point to the least of us, and they never point to the best of us. He could have made a very valid point by pointing to somebody who's better than he did than punching down on somebody else. You see what I'm saying? I don't like stuff like that. And my thing is this: why would you come to church to preach the word of God, but go outside of the word and the will of God to point to the internet, which is the word, and bring that foolishness into church when you're supposed to be taking what God said and pouring it into the people? You see what I'm saying? That is the type of stuff that I don't like. That's what's known as dirty macking, when you have to go outside of somewhere else to put somebody else down to make your point, or to make light of men, or to turn men into the butt of jokes or the entertainment. I'm here to tell you, men are tired of being the butt of jokes and being your entertainment. And I think that's probably the reason why a lot of guys have put their foot down nowadays and say, hey, look, you know what? I'm no longer going to deal with this. Y'all said y'all don't want to deal with us or whatever. Fine. I'll go my own way. You see what I'm saying? When the world falls apart and you come looking for us, then you know you've gone too far. And I think a lot of guys are just saying, you know what? I'd rather, be by myself. And I think that's the issue that a lot of women are coming up. They're making up stuff saying there's a male loneliness epidemic and all this other stuff. But how come it's always coming out of the mouths of women? You know, you got to pay attention to stuff like that. How come there's no guys on TV saying, you know what, I sure am lonely? They're not saying that because the product that they're getting is not what they want. So if it's something that they don't want to deal with it. So what other people are doing, they're using marketing tactics and using reverse psychology, saying there's a male loneliness epidemic when really it's the other way around. But nobody has the guts enough to say that. And I think that's the issue. We have a lack of people standing on business today to call a thing a thing. And I'm going to be the first person to say I'm calling a thing with this pastor. And what he did was unbecoming of a minister of God. And that's his problem. And somebody needs to call him on the carpet and say, don't do that anymore. Because you're supposed to be using men as the leaders for families and to go forward, and you're disparaging them. You're placing something inside of those women's minds as if these guys are not good enough. Men are not good enough. And who's to say that their scale that they're using to judge men is the same scale that he's using as comedy to measure these other men? It could be somebody who's busting their tail trying to take care of his family, and she's using the sliding scale, using the same thing with somebody else who isn't. So my thing is this: how do you judge that? You can't. So why do that? That's my whole thing, man. You don't have to go around and disparaging other men to make your point.
Now, did you know God was a misogynist?
Is a misogynist. In fact, according to the Bible, he is the first misogynist. The Bible is not a great book for promoting women's rights. In fact, it does the opposite. It demoralizes and puts women down.
Oh, spare me. God is not a misogynist.
Should have let him finish, man. Yeah.
Run the tape back. I want to see something.
Is a misogynist. In fact, according to the Bible, he is the first misogynist. The Bible is not a great book for promoting women's rights. In fact, it does the opposite. It demoralizes and puts women down.
Oh, spare me. God is not a misogynist.
Let me ask you a question. What religious text does promote women's rights?
I see where you're going with this, Doc. I see where you're going with it.
You see what I'm saying? So why would you point out the Bible and say it's not this when all the other ones don't do it as well? You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like we talked about earlier with Satan in the garden. You know, did God not say that you should eat off a tree? Or did he say it's not good to eat? You know, changing the definition of things is very cunning, you know, and I think that's what she did in this particular situation. She was a straw man argument saying just because it doesn't say this doesn't mean that. That's not what that means. You're going to ignore the entire text of what God, when Jesus himself walked up to a woman and said, you know what? I know you got many husbands, but go ahead and go home to your husband. Or let ye of you be first to cast the first stone if you have sinned, and spared this woman from getting beat up, you know, by the town. We just gonna leave all of that stuff out and just put a blanket statement and say God's a misogynist. Oh yeah, we're gonna leave that part out. Come on.
Oh yeah, not
Talk
to
to me,
mention
somebody.
that the Bible talks about a virtuous woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So virtuous, telling a woman to be virtuous is misogyny. It's crazy.
I told you, man, we gotta start calling a thing a thing, man.
Yeah, and I want to preface this real quick. Let me say this, do the super chat real quick. Prince 2722, thank you for the $5 super chat, man. Thank you for sponsoring the show tonight as well. Michael Basin always said it, be mindful of the pimps in the pulpit, man. I appreciate that $5 super chat. I want to read this very quickly. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 8. I'm gonna start at 8. It says, therefore, I want the men everywhere to pray, lifting up holy hands without anger or disputing. I also want the women to dress modestly and decency and propriety, adorning themselves, not with elaborate hairstyles or gold or pearls or expensive clothes, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. This is where it gets funny for the modern woman. A woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must stay quiet. This is the part where this woman just said in the video about Adam and Eve. It says here that for Adam was formed first, then Eve. And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner first. But women will be saved through childbearing if they continue in faith, love, holiness, and propriety. So we can sit and say, Adam, oh, he was right there. No. The scripture says that Adam was not the one deceived. It was Eve. If you're looking for that, if you think I'm playing with you, go to your Bible and go to 1 Timothy 2 and start at verse 13, where it says, for Adam was formed first, then Eve, and Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner first.
And then going back to what we talked about earlier, with that first clip, what old girl said, you know, hey, Adam was the one who was just standing there, made him look like a buffoon.
Exactly.
Just like we had this preacher sit up here and call all these other men buffoons. You see what I'm saying? It's those little nuances that changes the word and the meaning.
Right.
To give people that little crack to say, you know what, maybe this ain't so bad. You know, maybe what I'm doing ain't so bad. I don't need to repent. You see what I'm saying? That type of stuff. That's a lot of people. I'm telling you, man, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It really is, based upon this foolishness here. But go ahead, Black man. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I got some this for you. And since we were talking about Boaz, broke ass, drunk ass, and beat your ass, we're forgetting the story of Boaz. See, I'm trying not to go too biblical here tonight, but it's just too much in my DNA. I got to say it. Why did Boaz fall for Ruth? The first time he saw Ruth working in the field. He looked over and said, who is that woman working and helping all these people? Boaz, all the women out here in the world right now, they're just like Prototype said, they're not reading the Bible. They look at what this pastor said, that Boaz was a fine man with locks, and he was attractive, and all the women wanted Boaz. And Boaz had the money, he had the crib, he had the house, he had everything. And then they stopped, they paused. I want me a Boaz, girl. I gotta have me a Boaz. I need me a Boaz. All online. Just go down your timeline. I'm waiting on my Boaz. But what they don't understand is that Boaz was attracted to Ruth because of her work ethic, because she knew how to work with her hands. She knew how to get up and go get it. She knew how he seen that woman being a help to his life, being a help to his money, adding to what he already has. And so when he saw her work ethic, he knew then that she deserves everything that I've acquired as a man because of her work ethic. Now, my question to the women out there that want a Boaz, are you good of working with your hands? Are you good of adding to your man? Are you good at giving your man what he needs, when he needs, how he needs it? Because in order to have a Boaz, you're going to have to give up some ass. You're going to have to not act an ass. And you're going to have to be a good woman for this man. Boaz loved Ruth because of her work ethic. Women out there, if you're not working for something and that man can't see you, the Bible says, he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So that means you're already a wife when I meet you. You already have the characteristics. You already know what it takes to be one. That's why I said she's rare. But I rest my case. Go ahead, Prototype.
I didn't have anything. No, y'all was it.
You know what, Black man, to piggyback off what you just said, man, he said that he saw her working, right?
Yes, sir.
So that means she was what? She was helping, right?
Helping. That's it.
And he was attracted to her by helping, right?
Yes.
Why did God make Eve for Adam?
As his help.
And then what did Adam say when he saw her? Woe man, bone of my bone, flesh
bone
of
my flesh. Flesh of my flesh. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why he was attracted to her was because of her mission of helping him. You see what I'm saying? If you go all the way through the Bible, those women who actually were attracted to these guys, those men were attracted to those women because of their mission of helping them. You see what I'm saying? That's the main reason why. They were helping them get somewhere.
What was David's excuse?
That's the issue.
Say that again.
What was David's excuse?
That wasn't David's woman. David was out of pocket.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
And David had accountability. Nathan was right there.
Right.
Nathan told him, hey, bro, that's not what we do. I don't care, Nathan. Bring her here.
That's why I don't like David. That's why.
Yeah. So the last thing, I know we got on the submission thing, man. Thank you guys for that. I want to move into the last one of the night. The sense of one pot, bank accounts, money, finances. I said to baby the other day, I said, baby, I think that most women, when a man obtains a large amount of money, he wants to take care of his family. But when a woman obtains a large amount of money, she wants to take care of herself. And I truly, truly believe that. I think that now, if you get into a marriage and a relationship, a serious relationship with a woman, She's not sharing no money with you. I'm not combine. Why would I combine my finances with you? And so I want to move into the whole one pot phase, but I want to play this video first because I have two versions. I have a white man on one side saying one thing, and I have a black, ignorant, dumb nigga on the other side saying something else. And it's all, and I'm gonna say this: it's always us. It's always us. It's always us that always want to manipulate or be deceitful of what the word says. We and when you see who it is, you already gonna know from jump. All of you probably gonna fall out your seat when I pull him up. Hold on a second. I'm gonna do the super chat. Prince Antoine 722 $10 super chat. He said, I met my wife at the job 21 years ago. Oh man, that job love. Oh. As of this moment, we're still married for 16 years with 5 children and 2 grandchildren, with one more on the way. Hey, man, shout out to you, brother. Thank you for the $10 super chat, man. Hey, you about to be another granddaddy, bro. Congratulations on your 16 years of marriage. And I'm glad that you met her at work, man. I hope y'all went back there shaking sheets
he was
at the job, but you know, they probably did. They probably did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, they did. But I want to play this video for you guys real quick. I'm gonna play the white guy first because I think that's just be more appropriate. Lord have mercy. Let's see, where is it at? I got it. Okay, I'm gonna play him first. I'm gonna play this one first. Here we go. Oh, okay. I gotta pull one down. Give me just a second. Right, remove that. Okay, here we go. Got it. Let's see. Okay, go.
Just wondering, when people get married, what do they do with their finances? How do they just suddenly combine everything?
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
And like split everything right down the middle?
No. You combine everything. There's no middle. The preacher didn't say, and now you're a joint venture. He said, and now you're one.
So what if one person makes more than the other? Like,
you're not a partnership. You're a marriage. There is no, let me give you an example, okay?
Okay.
My wife has not had an earned income for 30 years. She stayed home with our children. I do not have an income. We have an income. It's as much hers as it is mine. Spiritually, morally, and by the way, legally.
Okay.
And so it's our income, and she and I sit down. Were she to earn an income, it would be in the put in a pile with mine, and I don't get more votes if I make more money. Your husband and wife. Preacher
Julie,
said, and now you are one. He did not pronounce you a joint venture.
combining checking accounts, working out of the same pot. Together, you're a team. Regardless of who brings in the money, it is your money. You guys together as a couple.
You're not roommates. You're your husband and wife. Preacher
Julie
said, and now you are one. He did not pronounce you a joint venture.
Now, y'all hold on to that information. Now I'm about to play the dumb nigga who says that. I just want y'all this. I'm telling you, like it just bothers me that we're so damn behind and we're so damn stupid. Like, listen. Oh, I forgot. I gotta take that one out. Hold on.
Yeah, you gotta make room. You got a lot of stuff on the stage.
Yeah, got a lot of it down there. All right, let me see. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Should have 4 bank accounts. You have the one bank account where both of you put your check in, and that's your joint account. It pays bills, light, car notes, everything that's a necessity to live. The second account has a savings account where you both agree to put X amount of dollars of that money in it, and it takes 2 signatures to move it. The third and fourth account, she should have her own bank account, and you should have your own bank account. And you decide what money comes out of the pot to go that way. She can do whatever she want to do. She ain't got to check with you and ask, and you can do whatever you want to do, and you ain't got to check with her and ask. And that way, guess what? The bills are paid, you have a roof over your head and a car to drive. You all are trying to save a little bit of money, and you got to have your own life.
Now, we got one man saying, bring everything together because spiritually and biblically it says that you're one. Then you have the other guy says that you still have your own life. Well, if you still want to live and have your own life and live separately from your person, then you shouldn't be married. Because the biblically it does says when you marry, you become one. And so if you become one, there's no separation. Where's the division in one? If I get a grain of salt right now, and my baby in there gets a grain of salt, and we put it together, we can't tell the grain of salt. I can't pick up my salt that I put down because we won't be able to know the difference. That's how it should be. 4 bank accounts is a lot. If you trust that woman and you want to be with that woman and you guys bring your money together, your finances together as a team, get the work done, get stuff paid, all pay the bills. It could all be done from that. But when at the end, he lost me real bad. When he said, you got your own, you still need to have your own life. If I need to have my own life, you should stay single. Go ahead. Anybody want to jump in can.
That's too confusing, man. It's confusing. Let me ask you a question. How long has Dave Ramsey been married to his wife?
You said 30 years. Probably longer than that now.
Longer than 30 years. More than 30 for sure.
How long has Steve been married to his wife?
Let me see.
Well, his current wife.
Oh, right.
I mean, they got old school principles. They got them real old, it's up to you on how you want to run your
17 years
financially.
Okay.
17 years. For Steve.
Yeah.
But he's still 60 years old. So he's going to carry those old kind of views, man.
41 years for Dave Ramsey.
I thought so.
I just look up their both net worth. I mean,
well, listen.
Dave cooking him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but Steve Harvey is kind of a cornball. But I don't disagree. Here's where I disagree with him, and now he said it. We had one pot, right? We had more than one pot. We had a pot for the family. And my wife had a bank account before I met her, right? Because she had a little bank account. She had no money in there because I knew what was in there. So we had rules. And the rule was that she would put a certain amount of money in the pot that we had, and she would max out her 401k plan. That's all I wanted her to do. I didn't really care what she did with the rest of it. But my goal was to make sure that we lived on the bulk of just my salary. We lived under the umbrella that I could create. The apartments we bought, the house we live in. If I couldn't afford it without her salary, then we couldn't move there. Because I always knew that it's always a woman's option that she's going to have babies, quit, and stuff like that. So when we had a 4-year window where she had to stay home with the kids, we maintained a lifestyle because it was based on my salary. But I didn't really care about the little account that she had to buy a dress and all that other shit. I didn't need that much control because what I asked her to do, she was doing, and that was just enough. But I understand where Dave Ramsey is coming from, but I didn't need to force that issue. Now, Hink would agree with him 100%.
Hink, boy, I wish Hink was here right now. Hink don't play that shit.
Yeah, he don't play that shit. It's one goddamn pot. That's it.
Yeah.
So I don't have any problem with it. And some people aren't as non-secular as Dave Ramsey is. He's a real religious, guided man. So Steve Harvey's for the streets. So I don't know. So he's a knucklehead, but for me, for other reasons. But still. So that's just my thing. I don't get hard over on it. Because if you're getting what you want out of your lady financially, I can find other things to fight over. If I had a lady say, well, my money's my money and your money's my money, we wouldn't be married.
Exactly. And I think that's the point that I'm making, Arpain. Yeah. That is what's happening right now. Once you start separating things, open Pandora's box, when women start to get success, that success turns into individualism. And then that individualism turns into, this is my money.
Can I add one more thing to that, though?
Yes, sir.
I think women and their obsession with their own money is a natural thing about women's self-preservation. I think it has something to do with their basic nature of selfishness, right? I mean, and it's not a bad thing. And self-preservation is like paramount to women. That's why if she makes $1 million, she's not satisfied with a man unless he's making $1.1 million. Right? The last thing they want to do is taking care of a man with their money, even if they could afford it. So something psychologically breaks in them when they have to do that. You know, so I think it's natural. I think it's just natural. I mean, when one tribe conquers another, you know, maybe the women gives the old chief that she was banging 2 weeks. The new chief brings her in, and she says, you know, I loved you, but now I got to survive with this new dude, man. So, and she's in the new 10, right? So, you know, I think women are, you know, women do shit based on their nature, even if they're trying to be in the modern era. It's just bastardized now.
And you know what? If you have to, and Lost in Translation, you can cook after this. If you have to tell your woman how to be a good woman, she's not a good woman.
That's not true.
I'm gonna take some off what Arpain just said. Arpain just said, I hear Arpain all the time when he talks about his wife said, I never have to. I never had to. I never have to. I never had to. He always says, huh?
Somebody had to, though.
I don't know. How long you been married, Arpain?
Somebody trained his woman.
Say that again?
Somebody trained your woman. If it wasn't you, it was her daddy. Somebody trained her.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. So we tell that, okay. So we can take it, okay. We can do that. Her daddy. So Arpain, this is a wife. So Arpain, before you got with your wife, because you said the story before, we watched your wedding, right? But you said that when you got with your wife, she knew how to be a good woman. She knew how to be a wife.
She was domesticated, man. It wasn't because of her boyfriend. She was living at home when I met her. Her mother was like that, you know? So a lot of the traits that she had, she got from them. I'm real old school, man. She wasn't, you know, she was modest. She had a certain amount of modesty that, you know, I don't know if that shit exists in women today. You know, but it's not like she didn't know anybody. She went to university, man. Shit, I don't know what the fuck she did up there. All I know is when I met her, she was, you know, just different, man. Just different. I mean, I met her parents day one.
Damn.
So
yeah, I met her parents day one.
Arpain, here's the thing. I know you don't want to pat yourself on the back. I'm gonna do it for you, man.
Yeah.
You did a good thing, man. Your picker was picking. You know what I'm saying? You made the right choice. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys don't get an opportunity to do that.
That's right. And I make allowances for that. That's why I don't like to, you know, seem like I'm bragging. I know it's just a different time now. You know? So I was blessed. Here's the only thing I take credit for. I was able to recognize that when I saw it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I take credit for. I recognized it when I saw it. I could have been an idiot over that.
Yeah, you're a blessed man, Doc. I don't know how she put up with your ass every day.
Sometimes I ask her that every so often, you know, shit, you know, and she spares me by not answering.
But hey, man, but so I appreciate what you have, Brother Payne. Because like I said, for you to be in that longevity of a marriage, and you could, after 3 decades, you could still say that same thing about your woman, speaks volumes about the man you are. And I know we play a lot, but I'm giving you your flowers. It speaks about the man that you are, and it speaks about, because everybody knows that your woman is a reflection of you. And if your woman is doing all those things for you, and taking care of you and being there for you and putting up with your shit every day and still getting up every day, choosing you.
Right.
You made a great choice over 30 years ago. And that choice still lives on today. And so, man, I just want to say that, man, what you guys have is amazing. And you should talk about it more. Maybe you should do another show and show your wedding again and show how you guys, how she came down the aisle, whatever it takes, man, because I think that, because you have the longevity in the game. to have these conversations. You and Mr. Bennett.
Right.
Y'all been in this game a long time, decades. And so I just, we're looking up to you guys, man. So I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate what you have and the example of the man you are with your wife, brother.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Don't start crying and shit.
No, I'm trying not to.
Okay.
I got a problem with the word vulnerability, man. Test us. If I'm lacking something, it's the V word and shit, man.
Oh, and I got this last super chat. We're gonna get out of here, man. Let's see, Prince Antoine 722 $10 super chat, man. Thank you for all the love you've been showing tonight, brother. He said my wife and I had separate accounts in the beginning. When she saw the benefits of what my bank has to offer, she closed her account and joined my bank. Uncle Sam does have its privileges. All right, man. Thank you so much for that, my brother. Hey, listen, I want to say to you, Lost in Translation, thank you so much for being here tonight with my brother, my co-host, man. Thank you, R. Payne, man. You had a great show on yesterday as well. Right. Prototype, man, you're welcome anytime, man. We've been rocking for a long time, brother. So I appreciate you, man. I haven't seen you in a while. And so I appreciate everything that you're doing out there in the streets too, man, giving your 2 cents and making that worth and making that valuable. So I appreciate you too, man. And until next week, man. Hey, Friday is going to be a fool at the barbershop. Prototype, make sure you get in the barbershop Friday.
I'll be there. I'm coming through.
All right.
All right, man. Yeah. I'll see you guys later, man. And we up out of here. Peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Chest thumping, boom like a baseline pound. King Kong stepping, make the whole earth bow. Banana clip bars, peel the truth, spit it raw. Silverback stature, no cap in my jaw. Swinging through the jungle vines like a mic cord. Fists like anvils, leave the ground floored. Coconut crack, that's a hard head dude. Wisdom in my eyes, but the knuckles stay cruel. King of the jungle, the crown fits snug. Beat on my chest, watch the whole